welcome to A Reason to Talk with Chris Reason. I'm here with Fang, I'm going to butcher this, VonWrathenstein.
You got it. That was perfect.
Okay, cool.
That was it.
the badass frontman of the Madison, Wisconsin-based power metal band Lords of the Trident.
This is Jeff Scott Soto, and you are watching and listening to the Chris Reason Network here on YouTube. Turn it up, keep it on, and rock on.
This is A Reason to Talk with Chris Reason.
Trident.
Hello. How's it going?
Right, not bad. Also representing Seven Spires on your shirt there, which I love.
Oh yeah, we're going to be touring Japan with them in December of this year. Yeah, very excited for that.
That's actually one of the questions I was going to bring up too. So that's later.
There you go.
Or we can do it now. Who cares? All right. First of all, thank you for coming to the show today.
Absolutely.
Let's start off with that. December, you're going on a Japan tour with Seven Spires. I just saw your post too with holy crap! It took me 2 seconds. I forgot who was on there.
Anthem?
Thank you. I was scrolling through it. I saw it really fast. Are you looking forward to anything specifically for that tour?
Oh yeah, I mean, so like we toured Japan in December of 2022, and I think it was, at least for me, it was the best tour we've ever done, ever been on. A large majority of that was actually because in Japan, pretty much nationwide, the last train in Japan is at 12:30 a.m. And so every venue out there will essentially end everything and like be like, okay, you got to get out. Everybody's got to get out, staff included, by 11:45 p.m. So like we, unlike tours in the U.S. or in Europe, we had early shows. We got everything all packed up. We were back to our hotels. Like, the hotel is like a 15-minute train ride, pretty much from every single venue we were at. So we were back to our hotels like 15 minutes. And I was like asleep by 12:30 a.m. I got the most amount of sleep on the Japan tour than I've gotten on any tour in my entire life. And that alone made it the best tour ever. But I'm looking forward to seeing the fans we made and the fans that we have back in Japan. Last time we were on tour there, half the shows sold out, and it was a really great vibe. I'm mostly looking forward to being surrounded by Japanese toilet technology, if I'm being perfectly honest. I love Japanese toilets so much that when I bought this house, when my wife and I bought this house, the absolute first thing we did after changing the locks was replace the toilets with Japanese toilets because I love them so much. And I'm actually in the process of putting in a basement bathroom over in the next rooms for people who come to stay for Mad with Power for the festival that we run. And you better believe I'm getting like a high-end Japanese toilet for that bathroom as well. So I'm excited for a lot of things, but toilet technology, early shows, and the food.
There you go. The toilet technology. I've definitely never experienced any of that. Just seen videos. So for Anthem being in there, was your rendition of Destroy the Boredom? I am in love with that cover.
Thank you.
One, I didn't even realize it was a cover at first until I actually heard your version first before that one. Is there any other ideas for stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm always looking for other songs to cover for Power Converter, for our YouTube series that we do where we cover other bands stuff. Typically for Power Converter, what I do is I tend to cover other bands that I'm friends with, that I know, smaller bands, because everybody and their brother has done like a YouTube cover of like Number of the Beast or a Judas Priest song or Dio or something like that.
Something ridiculously popular.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that are covering, other bands like of our sort of medium size level, right? And I think it just shows that, it shows the strength of the community if we're all kind of working together, covering each other's material, fans of each other's stuff. So I'm actually kind of waiting for the new Spires album to come out and be like, hey, maybe I could do another one of those. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I am actually on the new Spires album
Oh yeah.
as a guest singer. So I'm looking forward to hearing it doubly, basically.
I was gonna say I'm looking forward to it more now too.
Yeah. But in terms of Anthem coming over and playing the fest, they actually hit me up this morning and said, hey, we're putting together a set list. What do you think people want to hear? And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, because I know what I want to hear.
Right.
But so I put out a post saying like, hey, let me know what Anthem's taking requests. Let me know what you guys want to hear them play live at Madness Power Fest. So I'm putting together a list, which I'm going to send over to their manager, and then hopefully get them to make a live list for Madness Power.
That'd be awesome. I know. I was at Midwest Gaming Classic for the after party, and I saw you guys live and put on a great performance. And I even bought your Metal Combat shirt. I'm like, I have to get one of these. These are awesome. And actually, I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I also got
I see that. Yeah.
Up there too.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Hey, I'm a huge fan. Started looking up more stuff for you guys, especially I think the last Mad with Power Fest I wasn't able to go. I had a whole bunch of stuff come up, so I was like, God damn. But now I'm looking forward to the next one in August. Is there? I know you separate from that. You have a CD release party October 11th with Psycho Stick. I feel like that is going to be a ridiculously mad show.
Yeah, it's us and Psycho Stick have been buddies for a long time. Actually, in fact, last week, Josh, the guitarist from Psycho Stick, came up to Madison and stayed the night with me and just hung. We went to a show. It was a lot of fun. But we've been buds for a long time. And so any excuse to play with Psycho Stick is always a great time. Mostly just not like the show is going to be awesome. Don't get me wrong. The show is always great. But I just like hanging out with those guys.
Right.
I like talking and shooting the shit. Oh my God, we share so many stories. We have so much fun. They like come hang out down here after the show. I mean, they're staying here, but they come hang out down here after the show. We play arcade games. We play pinball. We listen to LPs. I mean, it's just like, it's a good hang. Those guys are some of my closest band friends out there for sure. They're really cool. So looking forward to it.
Right. Speaking of Mad with Power Fest, this has been a huge show for you guys for I forget how many years it's been now. Are you?
This is coming up on. This is year 7, technically 8 if you count the one that COVID canceled when we did like a digital show, but I don't really count that. So like 7, let's say.
We'll go with 7. Now, since you guys are the people pretty much running the whole damn thing and everything, are you expecting to like push boundaries and try to make it bigger every year? Do you guys do it?
Well, what we wanted to do with Madness Power Fest is I wanted to create a festival that would grow very slowly, because I saw a lot of my friends and fellow people who put festivals on would go too big too fast. There were people who would start a new festival and they were like 3 days, 2 stages, 40 bands, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like, the festivals that do that work because they have a name brand behind them. Everybody knows, Prog Power USA. Everybody knows Vakken and that kind of stuff. Like, they have a brand and they have people who will come every year, regardless of who's playing, just to come. Right? So we couldn't start there. We had to build our way up. So the first 2 years we were in a venue that held about, maybe 350, and that's like, if you really crammed them in. And then, after we outgrew that, after we had 2 successful years, we moved into a venue that held 500. And we sold that out every single year for 3 years in a row. And after we sold all that out, and we were selling it out quick, right? So then we said, okay, we have to move to a bigger venue. So now we've moved to essentially the biggest venue in the city. If you don't count, the auditorium or the Coliseum kind of a thing.
Right.
So we moved to the biggest venue in the city called the Sylvie, and that venue holds 2,500 people. And essentially, I don't want that's big enough for me, and I think that's big enough for me for essentially forever.
Right.
What I don't want is I don't want people. I don't like going to festivals where you're like this and you're like crammed in and you're like, woo,
You can't do
I
anything. You
don't.
can't move.
You can't move freely. I don't like that, and I don't think a lot. I don't know a lot of people who actively enjoy that, right?
Right.
So what we do is we have our festival in a 2,500 capacity venue, but we stop ticket sales at 1,500 because I don't want it to feel crammed. I don't want it to feel like you're being crushed. I want personal space, right? So we do a lot of things. So I don't foresee us moving to bigger venues anytime in the future. And on top of that, we do a lot of different things to sort of facilitate like removing a lot of the bullshit from festivals. So we have our arcade and pinball machines are all over the place. So you can do something, you have something to do while bands are changing over, or maybe this particular band that's playing right now is not your cup of tea. You can go do something else. We are the only festival, as to my knowledge, that has a dinner break, a built-in dinner break, right?
Right.
Because I go to festivals and I want to see every single band, but I'm human and I gotta eat at some point, And so we build in a dinner break so that people can leave, go, relax, eat, come back refreshed and ready to party, so they don't burn out, right?
Right.
We also were the first, to my knowledge, the first festival to take on Ticketmaster and say, you have to show the final price like on our website. You have to wrap up all the fees into that final price, so that when we say tickets are $99, when you get to checkout, they are $99, like plus or minus a few cents,
Right.
because state taxes are different, right?
Right.
But we were the only people to ever do that. And then 6 months after we did that, Congress started passing a law about like the fairness in pricing. I'm like, Joe Biden is a Lord of the Trident fan, I see. Okay, all right. But like we lose we lose 25% of every ticket sale because we've chosen to do that. So we could be making more money. We make about $75 out of every $100 ticket purchase, right? The rest of that goes to fees and that kind of stuff. We do that because I think ticket fees are stupid and bullshit, and I hate them, and so does everyone else. So somebody's got to take a stand. So I was like, all right, we're gonna lose some money, but this is the right move. This is the correct thing to do.
Right. I know I've noticed with Ticketmaster, no matter what you do, except for the exception with Mad with Power Fest and stuff, there's always a loophole with that where you're going to be paying God knows what just to go see a show that like starts off at $20. Next year you're paying $50 for one ticket or something.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where it's absolutely ridiculous. So we wanted to, that's some of the bullshit that we're trying to remove from the concert going experience and just from the music industry in general. I think the more people that start to do this, the better things are. We also, Mad with Power has 0 merch cuts. We don't take any money from anybody's merch till. We don't take any money out of and we provide people who will help people sell their merchandise for free. So we are not in the business of taking money out of band. As a person in a band, I'm like, the one thing that I will absolutely never do is like ask for a merch cut. Hell no, never. So a festival that we just played at, who shall remain nameless, took a 28% merch cut out of our merch. So like we, God, 28%, 28.
That's double what you would be doing if you were selling even just on like eBay or anything like third party sale like that.
And they didn't pay for the merch. They didn't make the merch. The only thing they did is they provide people to help take money and sell it. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve something for that. I would give a 5, maybe a 10% merch cut for if somebody, but 28, like, come on, that's ridiculous. So anyway, there's a lot of like bullshit in the music industry that people just seemingly put up with, And I'm trying to hopefully make a dent in that by making a stand and being loud about it. Making a stand and saying like, no, we don't need to put up with this. We don't. Like, just enough people have to say that.
Yeah,
So.
I know with back to the size of the venue, I've been to the Sylvie multiple times with 1500. I don't know if it was the shows I went to or whatnot, but like I just see 1500 even alone just seems like a lot of people that could fit in there. I know looking from the outside, kind of being like in the downtown area, quote unquote, of Madison, that is like a smaller entranceway too. Um, and the fact that they finally built like a parking garage right next to it too, which makes it a hell of a lot easier. Because when I've gone to a couple of shows where you park like 2 miles down the road just to get there, and you're like, where the hell is this place again? It's exciting. I've looked at the Mad with Power Fest multiple times website just to see the lineup. I'm like, God, I want to see all these bands. Like this is great.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah.
You brought up your YouTube with covering. I've seen you stream on Twitch before. Do you do live shows on those as well?
Yep, yeah. So I do live streams every Monday and Friday. Monday's a gaming stream, and Friday is a singing stream. And the singing stream is kind of like karaoke. I'll take requests and that kind of stuff. And then during the pandemic, we had something along the lines of like twice a month we do live performances. And now, honestly, we had a lot of fun doing that. And it's a lot easier to like set up a few cameras and some lights than to like lug everything out of the basement. So we decided we wanted to do at least 3 to 4 streaming shows a year. So we still do. We had one a couple we had one a couple months ago, I wanted to say. But yeah, we've got a couple more streaming shows lined up. We actually have something in the works, something secret in the works, possibly for October. We have a big stream, let's just say. We had a few of our friends who go on tour have floated the idea of essentially making my basement like an official stop on the tour. So that they can do an official fully mixed live stream, multiple cameras, all that sort of stuff. And I'm all about it. So,
Right.
I can't say who, but let's just say there might be stuff in the works to like do that maybe in October, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
That's awesome. Now with Lords of the Trident being around since 2008, roughly, has there anything that you feel that have potentially helped out the career for Lords of the Trident?
yeah, I mean the biggest thing honestly was collaborations and just making friends. The a lot of people talk about, we were in the right place at the right time or that kind of thing. And we had one of those situations during COVID. And I mean, like the one thing that kind of shot our popularity up quite a bit was when at the end of 2021, when Unleash the Archers was going to do their US tour and then got denied entry into the country. We had just done Mad with Power 4, and Seven Kingdoms had headlined that. And Seven Kingdoms and us became instant best friends. And they had literally just played Mad with Power, and they just left my house. And I was in the process of driving to Milwaukee because I had set up a show for Aether Realm. The original lineup for the Unleash the Archers tour was Unleash the Archers, Seven Kingdoms, Aether Realm, right? So they were all going to meet in Chicago and start the tour there, and we were going to play with them on the Chicago date. So it made sense for everybody to sort of coalesce around Ty's house and then go to Chicago. So I set up a show for Aether Realm in Milwaukee, and as I was driving, I got the call from Seven Kingdoms saying Unleash the Archers are not going to make it for another week. And we started to brainstorm. And what I told them and what I told Aether Realm after I met them, I'm like, look, here's the situation. Come back to my house. You guys can stay with me rent free for a whole week. I'll cook you meals. We'll figure it all out. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. Because when you're not on tour, when you're not driving, when you're not playing shows, you're burning money, right? You're burning gas, you're burning hotels, you're burning food. So I was like, look, I know what that's like. I very much know what that's like. Just come stay with me, free of charge. I'll cook your meals. It'll be good. It'll be fine, and we'll figure stuff out. So what we figured out over the next day or two was like we couldn't really book them on another show because they just played Mad with Power. That's the biggest power metal show in like the area. So I can't book them at like Bob's Country Bar the next day. That doesn't make any sense, right?
Right.
So we were like, let's do a live stream. Lords had been doing live streams ourselves during the entire pandemic, but I'd never brought in another band to do a live stream with. So I'm like, you know what? It can't be that hard. Like, we'll just set up. We'll program stuff into the mixer, and we'll be okay. So we did this live stream, us, Seven Kingdoms, and Aether Realm, and Unleash the Archers, and their record labels and their PR companies. They pushed our live stream to everybody, right? And we had 600-700 people plus watching the whole show. It was a huge success. We raised like I want to say it was like $6,000. It was either $3,000 or $6,000. I either gave each band $3,000 or I think it was that. I think it was $6,000. Anyway, I told the bands, I'm like, look, we're not going to take a cent from this. Anything that anybody donates, we'll split equally amongst you guys. We don't need any money. We're not doing anything. It's just our basement. Like there's no costs involved for us in putting this thing on. So it wouldn't be right for us to take the money. You're the ones in trouble. So we gave them 100% of the money. We split it equally. And we essentially became like band best friends with both Seven Kingdoms and Aether Realm from that, that exchange. But that one thing, that one live stream that we did, you can immediately see from like where we were before to like now we're like through the roof in terms of popularity just from that one thing. And you might say right place, right time, right things. But, really what it was we made a lot of effort to continue to do things during the pandemic to think about how we could reach out and do more stuff when people were not doing stuff. So like, how do we took the time to like set up the basement into a TV studio to, dial in our in-ear mix so it sounds great on the stream, to do all these little steps so that when that moment came, we were ready. Right. And that's essentially the luck of it. Right. But we built that luck up by being ready for this moment. We didn't know it was coming, but it came, and then boom, super, it just increased our popularity tenfold overnight. So, what I can say to that is the takeaway from all that is start, for any bands out there listening, like start thinking about ways that you can increase your reach and be prepared for like, these weird, one-off challenges that'll happen. Don't just wait for something to come to you. You sort of have to make it. The second biggest thing, and I think this is more important, right? The thing that helped us the most was helping other people. The thing that helped Lords of the Trident was making those connections with other people, with other bands, helping them out, and being there for people when they needed us. And that I think is the important message. The more bands that stick together and help each other out, I think the better the scene gets, the better the better the fans become, just the better the vibe. Music, a lot of bands think about music as like a race against the other bands. Oh, this band got on this tour. Why not me? Why wasn't it me? And I think that's the wrong way to look at it. The way to look at it is like, oh, cool. My friends get to go do this. They got this opportunity. That must mean, if this is successful, that must mean that the scene is fertile. The scene is healthy, right? You don't have to be fans of just one band. Right? Like I could be fans of Seven Spires, Seven Kingdoms, Seven Wonder. I could be fans of all the seven bands, right? I could do every single one of them. I could like them all equally. Me liking one band doesn't diminish how much I like another band. Right. So therefore, it's like there's no need to compete with other bands. You should be like working together with other bands so that, their fans become your fans, become their fans.
Yeah.
Right. So like, so for me, I really, really strongly believe in collaboration, in helping each other out, in being the best friends you possibly can to be there and to help everybody grow. That's my main goal, basically.
I feel like if you didn't potentially become friends or even like willing to do like all these collabs or even stuff like that, you're kind of singling yourself out. And then if you are doing these tours with other bands, you're getting fans of those other bands that will see you that like, oh hey, these guys are pretty cool if that they've never seen you before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all over.
It's win-win. It's win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of circle back around how you quote unquote mentioned the Seven Spires featuring. You've collabed with other bands. Is there bands that you would dream to like collab with?
Yeah, I'd love to sing with Jorn Landy someday.
Oh,
His voice is like unfair. Adrian and I have talked about this extensively because we love to talk shop in terms of vocal stuff. We're like, and she gets to sing with him. She's in Avantasia. She gets to sing with him. So we're both like, God damn it. He can just sing the phone book and like everyone will buy it. Like I'd buy it. I'd buy him singing the phone book. Like his voice is so good. I think I'd like to do I'd love to do something with him. I'd love to actually I'm hoping I can convince Anthem to let me like do a guest appearance on Destroy the Boredom this year. I'd love to do more work with Matthew from Fellowship. I think his voice is extraordinary. Just in general, I don't know. There's a lot of bands that I'm just really excited about. I think any of the more famous bands would be really cool.
right.
Camelot, your Symphony X, I met Russell Allen a couple weeks ago. He's super nice, really, really nice guy. And the bassist of Camelot is the coolest hang. Sean is the coolest hang. We were chatting for 25 minutes. It was really, really fun. Felt like it at least. But I'd love to do anything with any of these bands. And I think I'm basically just open to collab with anybody, anytime. I've had people, from I've had bands from Fairyland to Spires to somebody's basement project, hit me up, do guest vocals. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm about it. So yeah, I'm totally down to collab with anybody.
There's two bands / musicians that I would love to see you work with. One being Jeff Scott Soto, just because I feel like he's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Plus, I love like a lot of his work. And then the second one, just because they've been doing a lot of collabs with a lot of different people. Baby Metal, with their collab with Electric Callboy recently. That I was blasting that like on repeat.
That was a fun one. I wish I would have thought of like the disco ball helmets. Like that's such a good idea. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I should have thought of that.
Oh, hey, there's more for different shows.
Yeah.
But other than that, thank you for coming on the podcast today and the my YouTube channel here. So thank you for joining me today on an episode of Reason to Talk with Chris Reason. Make sure you hit that follow button wherever you get your podcasts and hit subscribe on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Check out Lords of the Trident on Twitch and YouTube as well, and pretty much everywhere else that has social media.
Just type Lords of the Trident into Google or like the first 50 pages, then it gets really weird.
Right. Also, just a little quick plug in here, brought to you by W Energy. Use promo code CRN10. Get 10% off your order today. Help support us. Peace. Fucking bacon grease. Thanks, guys.